Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about what is going on in Edo State. Last week, our revered monarch went to Abuja to solicit to the president to settle the rifts between the governor and, of course, the APC national chairman. In some times, the refusal by the government of the day saying that there is no rifts, but in some other climes, some other papers, you get to hear why they are after me. I read it on the page of the newspaper, the headlines, and you got to hear what is really happening. It's like all isn't too well between these two great personalities, okay? And there was a cabinet reshuffle. People are like asking, is it a necessity or vendetta? And that is what we'll be taking a look at on this discussion segment. With me here in the studio, I have a legal practitioners, in fact, two legal practitioners, and of course a political analyst, one-time human rights activist, a politician, entrepreneur, okay, still human rights activist, whatever. Anyway, let me start by introducing Barrister Nakwen Banefo. Barrister, welcome to the show. I appreciate the coming this morning. And of course, the man that said he remains an activist, though he's a politician now, political activist, whatever. Harrison Ezeko, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm sitting very close to him. In fact, it's a brand new personality. He just turned Mr. Yeah, I just got word that Felix is here. Welcome to the show. A legal practitioner.
Thank you.
May you enjoy. Look at how fresh your face.
Very interesting. It's good to be a married man.
All right. So, I want to start off with you, Felix. What do you feel about all this? At first, it was like a rumor that there's a rift. You said it here a month or two ago on this platform. I said, no, you don't have proof of that. We talk about the rift between the national chairman and the governor. So you said you don't have proof of that. I told you to jettison it, which you did. But right now, it's like it's clear. It's clear that there is a rift for the revered monarch to go to Abuja to say, please come and settle these persons so that there'll be peace in Edo State. After that, there was a cabinet reshuffle. 8 commissioners were dropped, 6 made commissioners, and of course, advisors to the governor. How do you view this development?
Well, I think at first, I'm happy that you have admitted that there's a rift between the godfather and the godson. And I think ordinarily, one would have expected it to be an issue of APC as a party, but now it's no longer an issue of APC, it's now an issue of Edo. That's where we can make comments about it. I think it's normal. It's normal for a godfather who brought the godson to say, I want you to continue to be loyal to me. Sometimes it's also normal for a godson to say, oh, I have grown wings, I can stand on my own, I'm not comfortable the way you are treating me. I want to be on my own. So in such a context, you will realize that there will definitely be conflict, and that is what we are saying today. But in regards to the issue of the cabinet reshuffling, the governor has the inherent power, the constitutional power to hire and fire. This is who I want, this is who I don't want. He has the power. That is undisputable. But sometimes what we ask is the rationale behind the reshuffling and also the dropping of some commissioners. Was it for the interest of Edo State, or was it for his own personal political expediency? So, but looking at what is happening, one will easily conclude that, oh, this is for his own political expediency, not for the interest of Edo people. Considering the people who he retained and those he dropped, one would have expected that some of them he retained. If it was for political expediency, he would have decided to say, okay, let me keep these people that I sack, let me drop these ones that are still there right now. So, in a nutshell, we are watching the whole drama, and we pray that it does not consume the peace of those states.
All right. Now, for what you said, the governor have the right to hire and fire. Harrison, I know you're going to agree to that. We are taking a look at the timing and the circumstances that is prevalent right now in Edo State. How do you view this?
Well, I think the issue of timing or circumstances, for me, I think it does not really have any issue to come by. The governor of the state is the boss. He is the one that hired in the first place to join him to work for Edo people. Having worked for over 2 years, and he feel from his own thinking that it's time for me to reshuffle. He has done his own mathematics that these ones have done well. For this time, these ones need to go, let new persons also come in. That's what the party have also clamored for. And they have decided to say, okay, these persons, these 8 of you, you need to go for now. Not that you are no longer a member of the party, not that there are issues, but just to also allow some other persons to come in. Like I told people a few days ago, it's not an elected position. It's an appointment. So the governor has a right on whom he will appoint at a particular time and in which of the ministry. So what the governor has done has nothing to do with the problem on ground. The governor is not fighting anybody. He's just doing his constitutional right to bring in new persons to also help him. If you listen to the Commissioner for Health, he have accepted in good faith. He have thanked the governor for the opportunity given to him to work. And he have also said if there's any opportunity, he's ready to serve. And some person will move from commissioner to become a special advisor. So I don't think it has anything to do with political undertone. It's just what the government needs at this time, and the best time they want to use to do what they need to do. Don't be surprised maybe before the end of the year, maybe some other persons will also go, new people will come in. So I think the government is on the right track. It has nothing to do with any issue on ground.
Okay, Barrister Anakoy Mbanefo, when he made a statement, you smiled. Could you please give expression of that smile? Because he said the governor is not fighting or fighting back. So, take it up from there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yes, I smiled actually because that statement he made, you know, has a lot of volumes of meanings, you know, and he was just trying to be on the diplomatic side in order not to side the governor or whoever that is fighting the governor. However, having said that, Nigerians, and in fact the black race, appear to have a very short memory. We have a lot of short memory, and the burden of the black man sometimes has to do with our lack of you know, memory to remember the past. Because you cannot do with the present without remembering the past. So before we talk about the issues confronting the executive governor of Edo State, we should be asking ourselves, how did the governor himself emerge as the governor of Edo State? The emergence of the governor as Edo State governor at that time, did he emerge purely based on the ruling parties, you know, Edo State APCs, did they agree wholeheartedly to say, yes, this is our candidate? My learned friend, when he started this, you know, to make his comments, did make the use of the word Godfather and Godson. And I agree with him. I align myself with him. So as at the time the governor emerged as the candidate for APC 4 years ago, was he imposed on the party? Or did the party themselves willingly and voluntarily said, yes, this is our candidate? So I have to take our mind back to what transpired then. And then if you cannot take our mind back to how he emerged, as the then APC candidate, we can't also be able to resolve what's on the table right now. And so the party, of course, determines who becomes their candidate.
All right.
For governorship election or any other elective office, you understand? If along the line the party is now twisted and somebody emerged, that person should also expect that some time ago, what goes around comes around. So having said that, you know, to put you know, facts straight, the point we're discussing right now is the cabinet reshuffle.
Yeah.
Is it necessary or is it a vendetta? Well, I want to put it this way: the game of politics, you know, is very, very deep, and you can't talk about politics without talking about interest. Of course, there is no permanent enemy in politics, but it's a permanent interest.
All right, because right now you are speaking in parables, because like you pick on the point, you finish that point, you come back into the other point.
Yes.
He made a statement, you smiled, he said nobody is fighting anybody. For what you can see, is there a fight right now?
I'm coming. I'm laying a foundation to get to where he was then. And so we are looking at the history of the party.
All right.
And what is now happening in the state, has it got anything to do with the emergence of the government? And like I said, I have made that point clear. The point I'm making here again is that in politics, we have a permanent. There's not permanent enemy, but there's a permanent interest.
Interest. So it's all about interest.
It's all about interest. So
all right.
The governor is trying now to ensure that he protects his interest.
Okay.
To emerge as the next candidate, for the ruling party in Edo State.
All right.
In the next election. Let me come in here. In Mario Puzo, in his book, The Godfather, I mean, not the Godfather, The Last Dawn, Puzo, in his book, The Last Dawn, did say that political power is not everything, but the only thing.
Okay.
Political power is not everything, but the only thing. So a sitting governor, do everything within his powers to ensure that he retains political power.
All right, thank you. Yeah. I'll come back to you to throw more light on that. Now, Felix, he brought in Marupuzo, The Last Dawn, talking about political power is not everything, but is the only thing. That is, absolute power is not everything, but the only thing. Harris said nobody is fighting anyone. Would you want to agree to that? But Mbanefo talked about interest. Oh, hold on, of course, why not? We're coming to the Harrison. Calm down. Calm down. So
I think the truth of the matter is, my brother has just been economical with the truth. Let's be very sincere. One thing I don't like about this issue of politics is the fact that most of the players, most people who play the politics, they seem to be too economical with the truth. But let's be very sincere here, very sincere. We are not strangers in Edo State. We are not new in Edo State. We are not daft in Edo State to be able to look at this, and draw a very conclusive inferences. Also, yes, the fight between the governor and his predecessor, it is political. The issue we are having right now is a rift between both of them. And again, I also don't agree with him that the removal or the reshuffling of the cabinet was for the interest of the state. Not at all. It was not for the interest of the state. Even the appointment the governor made on the same day, appointing some special advisors, were not for the interest of the state, because I do not expect him, for example, now, to appoint a person who was the former speaker as an SA, where we all know how he came, where he came from. So it's not for the interest of the state. But Wilson, let me remind you, I wrote an article some days ago. I was trying to talk about Edo State. We must first put the interest of Edo State in our discourse rather than party or personal interest. The governor came. The governor said, "Oh, I came in as an administrator, as a technocrat. I don't want to play politics." But what we are seeing today is a governor that is playing politics. The governor said, "Oh, I don't want talks. I don't want this." But right now, we are not seeing the emergence of talks in those states because election is coming. I have discussed with some of my friends who are in the APC. They will tell you that the governor has to be smart. He has to be wise. He has to cripple the Oshiohole so that he can be able to. He cannot be treated like Ambode. He has to start fighting right now. If you ask me to be very wise. If the governor was very wise, this fight was very quick. He was very quick to have started this fight at now. Because you know why? When you keep fighting a father, when you keep talking to a father, when you keep blowing a father, same thing, dealing with a father does not talk, he's just looking at you. He didn't make a comment. You have to be very careful at that time. Because when that father decides to ask, the effect will be very, very maximum. All right. So I think the governor right now should calm down. Drop people that are loyal to his predecessor, that don't think is necessary. No matter what you think, there's a way you can still play your politics without showing it, making it so conspicuous that you are fighting. Because tomorrow, people will remind you that you were the one who started this fight. All right.
Well, he said there is a fight ongoing right now, and he talked about caution on the part of the governor, and he talked about loyalty, dropping people that are allegedly loyal to the national chairman, but not loyal completely, so to speak, right now to the governor. That is the reason for the dropping and reshuffling of the cabinet. Harrison, you as a party man, I need to react to his statements.
Like I said just now, you see, he is not an insider. Let me give you two examples.
All right.
Number one, Osifo, Commissioner for Health, is from one day. He's in the cap of Oshiohole. He's with the governor. Adesutu from Obia Southwest. He's not from the cap of the governor. He's not from Oshiohole. He's with the governor.
I thought you said nobody was fighting.
No, because you feel that the reshuffling of the cabinet is as a result. No, I know what I'm talking about. The Commission of Women Affairs will remove as a commissioner. Later, I put a special advisor. So how do you, what is your make of all this when you are saying that he's removing those who are...
Is that not a demotion?
No. Special advisor is higher than the commissioner. Those are people who sit with the governor, the NG room. So what we are trying to say is that Yes, there are issues. Nobody should shy away from the issue. Personally, for me, for people like us who are with the governor 247, because I believe in development. I believe that they are not bothered about what people are saying. But what we are saying is that what are the reasons for this fight? What are the reasons for this agitation? The only reason when you say that you want to remove a sitting governor is when he's not performing, when he's not working. The governor is working. The governor has been able to sell himself to Edo people. Even your opposition party is at peace with the man. Why would the party member not be the one to say the governor cannot come back? So what we are saying is it's a party thing, and the party is going to resolve this issue in due course.
So now you are admitting that there is a fight already.
I have always said that there are issues. The Oba of Benin went to Abuja to beg the president to resolve the governor and the former governor. So it's no longer an easy thing. It's an open thing. Yes, there are issues. The issue is just all about 2020. But what we are saying is that, can you change a winning team? No. Can you remove somebody who has done well? Record are set to be beaten. And just Oshiohole has done his part, and he said he has done well. And Governor Obaseki has taken over from there. In less than 3 years, he has done well. And if you give him another 10 years, he's going to surpass the performance of others of the Oshiohole. That is very clear. Because these are two different persons. And these two persons are members of this party. Our national chairman is there. So at the end of the day, the party will resolve their issue. But Governor Obaseki 2020 is inevitable.
All right,
Nobody can talk about that.
We are not here to campaign. We are not here to campaign.
We are not campaigning. We are only saying based on his performance.
Okay, Harrison, you just
I judge performance.
Harrison,
as I speak with you, I can link my community to Sapler Road.
Harrison,
in a word.
I'll come back
to you. And people are saying the men have done nothing.
I'll come back to you.
That is witchcraft.
Harrison, I'll come back to you. Now it's getting more and more interesting, because at first someone said there is no fight, no report. Now he's saying the reason for the fight, agitation. I'll come back to you on that, Harrison. Barrister Anakwe Mbanefo, you used a word, though you phrased the word talking about political power is not everything, but is the only thing. Is this a fight for survival? Now talking about the cabinet reshuffle, is it vendetta or is a necessity?
As a matter of fact, this is not a Roman Catholic affair. Politics is not a Roman Catholic affair, especially when it borders on African nations like Nigeria. And so one cannot sit down here and conclude that the governor has no reason for to have reshuffled his cabinet because he is fighting the fight of his life, and he wants to remain as a governor for another 4 years, and he's doing all he can do to ensure that he ensures that the party agrees with him and allows him to go for the next 4 years. So all that is happening in those states is all about political strategies to remain in power. But according to a book I read recently, the book is titled The Mafia Manager.
You keep going for these mafia books. I wonder why that is.
So the Mafia Manager, is authored by Mr. V. We don't even know who Mr. V is, but it's authored by Mr. V. And the Mafia Manager, the author said, and I quote, that for everything you want to go into, for every adventure you want to go into, the first question you ask yourself is, what is India for me? So you must look at what is India for you. Is it negative or positive? Again, I'll give you another illustration. The general was traveling out of the shores of Nigeria, and he boarded the aircraft with one major. And the general looked behind and saw the major reading a book. And the book was titled The Consequences of Failure. It was titled How to Plan a Coup. Under it, it was titled How to Plan a Coup. So the general asked him that this book, I read it when I was in Major 2. Have you read chapter 7 of that book, How to Plan a Coup? So the man now turned to, the major now turned to chapter 7. On that chapter 7 of the book, titled How to Plan a Coup, the chapter was titled "The Consequences of Failure."
Okay.
The consequence of failure. And when the man ran down and discovered that if you plan a coup and you fail, of course, you have to face the gun. And that was the consequence of failure. And so the man told me that when reading this book, you have to be very careful. But don't forget to read that chapter 7 very, very well. So all that is happening in those states is a melodrama. And we have not looked at the consequences of failure. Under Oshiohole's watch, with all due respect to him, this political crisis in other states of the Federation cost APC, the ruling party, 5 states. 5 states. They lost 5 states, which the ordinary they wouldn't have lost because of, this issue of who gets what, when, and how, according to my very good friend Wilson. So it cost the ruling party 5 states. And we expected that at this stage, after that election, that the APC lost Bauchi, lost, Imo State,
Zamfara.
Lost Zamfara. Is it Ben? Lost? Is it not Ben where they lost? Ben. Yes, and all that state. And then we will have looked at those consequences, and then come back to those states and say, if this fight continues, what may likely be the consequence of this fight? Because at the end of the day, if we're not very careful, the ruling party may also end up losing in those states.
All right.
And so, like he said earlier, at the end of the day, if they lose, both the man who is still down there and the man who is fighting from wherever, everybody will lose. So it will be to the interest of the party to sit down and see how this issue can be resolved without making it a press affair. So that at the end of the day, the party can still, because as far as I'm concerned, I've been here for quite a while. This party has done so much in this state.
All right.
Right from the time Oshiohole came into power. Before Oshiohole came into power, the Edo State was in a sorry state in terms of infrastructural development. With all due respect to Adent Oshiohole, he came here, he was able to change the face of infrastructures in Edo State. And when my very good friend came on board, Obaseki followed the footsteps of his predecessor. Obaseki has done so much on the side of infrastructural development in Edo State. Obaseki has been a silent operator.
All right.
He's the first governor of Edo State that he can move around without siren. He's one man that doesn't make noise about what he's doing.
Okay.
And we are all seeing what he's doing. So if this fight continues, the state may end up suffering the entire thing because they may end up losing to the opposition.
All right, I'll come back to you shortly, Barrister Anakwe Mbanefo. Now, Felix, I know you have so much to react to from the angle of Barrister Anakwe Mbanefo, but to add to your reaction, I'd like you to give an expression to this question. Now, dropping 8 commissioners, making 6 persons commissioners and some other persons advisors to the governor, is that a wrong move? Do you play chess, by the way?
Sure.
Good. Is that a wrong move?
I think if you play chess very well, you are very good at chess. You know that you don't disclose all your strengths to your enemies. I think what the governor has been doing is showing his strengths, what he can do. Trying to show himself how powerful. If you're a person who understands the tactics of acquisition of power, you understand the consequence of silence. Go and read the book titled "The Consequence of Silence." So when you see a man like Adent Oshiohole, who is a well-known Machiavellian, being quiet at a time like this, who used to talk very well, who used to react, doesn't react, it's a one reason why you should be very careful. The case of House Assembly happened. The man did not fight, he didn't do anything. He relaxed. Those who were loyal to him were excluded from inauguration. He did come and start fighting. Ordinarily, Oshiohole would go to the street, mobilize people. He didn't do that because right now he sees as a leader who needs to be more diplomatic and pragmatic in approaches. Also, this one has happened. We all know anybody that denies the fact that this is not connected to the crisis between himself and the Godfather is not sincere. Again, the issue of special advisors, at this time, I don't know what we are using special advisors to. What are we using a man like Kabiru Ajito again as special advisor?
Hold on now. The governor have the right to appoint anybody. He has the right. Yes. But let me remind you something. Yes. If you follow me very well. I am a lawyer.
The judiciary is a very sacrosanct organ of government that you do not allow any vacancy to ever be there, and there's no excuse for you not to say, oh, I will not allow the judiciary. As a lawyer, you know, I came across a document on social media, and I realized that a letter the governor of Edo State wrote to NJC informed the NJC that the 5 judges about to appoint, they don't have money to logistics for them. There's no money. That they have to suspend the process of appointment. Right now, we have 5 judges that have been appointed. They have passed through screening everything. They have passed through all the area. But the governor wrote a letter stopping the process of appointing judges.
Do you approve of this?
Yes. The letters are there. If you want this, I can show you the letter. The governor wrote to NJC. Because the reason was because there is no fund to fund them. But right now, the governor now appointing special advisors. When you know the cost of maintaining these offices, to me, I don't think it's for the interest of Edo State. Also, going to the argument of Oshiohole Obaseki, I quite appreciate the person of Oshiohole. I also quite appreciate the personality of Governor Obaseki. I have no problem with any of them. I have no personal problem with any of them. But sometimes I keep wondering. You know, I'm not happy when I see the members of APC try to compare Oshiohole with Obaseki. It looks so vexatious. Why are you comparing them? They are 2 different individuals. This was the man who brought this man. This was the man, when you were campaigning, you say, oh, continuity, I'm going to do this. He has done so well. He's our God. He's our God. Right now, you're not telling us that the man is a bad man. No, I would agree. I was coming this morning with a friend. Now, the man was telling, the friend was telling me that, this Ubawa road then, I can remember how we used to suffer here. This was the work of Oshiohole. Anybody that compares the work of Oshiohole with this governor, he's not being sincere. I can tell you that the first term of Oshiohole can never be compared to the first term of Obaseki in terms of infrastructure. There is no policy of education right now that the governor will say he has done that will be more than the red roof revolution for Oshiohole. We all knew how we came back. So for a man who has done so much for Edo State to say, okay, I'm not looking for a mediocre who cannot do anything. I'm not looking for a man who doesn't know what he's doing. I am looking for a technocrat who can manage resources, a technocrat who can satisfy the interests of Edo people. I'm not looking for even a loyalist who will do sasa to me. I'm looking for a man who is very sound. He brought Obaseki from nowhere to become governor because, number one, he was looking for the interest of Edo State. For now to come and tell me that, oh, the man is a godfather, let's kill the man, I do not subscribe to that. Again, I do not also subscribe to the fact that the godfather should learn to start manipulating the government to say, oh, do this, do this. I don't agree with that. But for the purpose of conscience, for the purpose of fairness and equity, in condemning the man, you must be very careful in condemning him.
All right, you just hold on, Felix. Well, if you just join us, this is TMI. You can call it this morning on ITV. We're taking a look at cabinet reshuffle in Edo State, a necessity or vendetta. And they've been talking about the rifts between the APC national chairman and, of course, the governor of Edo State. At first, it was shrouded in misery until our rebel monarch said, look, President, you have to intervene for Edo to be peaceful. That's why we have to bring this topic on the fore or to or the front burner, so to speak. But whatever they say here is their own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV radio. Doing our best possible to make sure they follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Now, back to you, Harrison. He said this man has been quiet. He talked about the game of chess. He talked about one showing his might. And in his opening, he also talked about the governor showing his strength so soon. What can you deduce from all these comments put together?
What is a personal statement and the way you think? For me, I think Godwin Obaseki is the governor of this state. And he have the right, as the number 1 citizen of the state, as the chief security officer of the state, to take some certain decision within his power that is being backed by law. What the man have done, he have not gone against the constitution of the land. He have a right to appoint, he have a right to fire. He have the responsibility on whom he feel will work in his cabinet. If I am a local government chairman today, and I decide I want to bring up my cabinet, it is those who can work with me we appoint. The president has just appointed the SFG and of course the chief of staff. These are appointments that are within his power and he do it. The commissioner that have just been named, they are going to be screened by the Senate Assembly. It has not ended there. If they go there and the Assembly refuse to screen them, that these are not the people that we need, then you see the other names. There are procedures to all these things.
From what is happening, are they going to reject them?
You talked
about rejection right now. Who's going to reject who?
Until they get there. Until we get there. There are processes to all these things. The governor have not gone against the process. He is following it stage by stage. The one that they have right to appoint without nobody looking to it, will do. So if they decide to bring in, whoever decide to bring into it, is the person capable? Can the person do what is being asked to come and do? That is there. I think it will be out of place for any person to begin to condemn the former governor of this state. And the Sani Oshiohole has done well for Edo State. He has done his part. He has played his role. He has planted the seed. And the seed is already growing. And Governor Obaseki, I'm going to take over from there to make sure the seed grow very well. There shouldn't be any Omeola balloon. The question is, when Anders was the governor of this state, we also have a national chairman. We also have a national chairman in this state. Oh, he was national chairman of this party, and of course he was from this state. I don't think anybody gather people together to begin to say that the will not come to power. But my joy is that it is within the same party. It is not opposition. They are not saying that the reason why the governor cannot run for 2020 is because he has not performed or he has not performed. That is my joy. They are not saying that the governor were just there and embezzle money. Nobody can actually come out and say this is what Godwin, Obaseki have done, and for this reason he cannot be re-elected for second term. If such issues, nobody has been able to present those issues, then we're happy. So the question is what is the issue? What has the man done? Election have not come. The primary is going to be next year. Why not give this man some time to be serious with what he's doing? So when the time comes, we'll go ahead. And with the person of Governor Obaseki, I don't think he's going to fight anybody who feel he wants to go for primaries with him. The field is open because the man have done well. So our national chairman, I think the time will come, he will speak, and he's going to speak loudly. And when he speaks, it's going to be the advantage of the sitting governor. Because for APC as a party, the basis for replacement is when you have not done well. We have issue in Kogi State now.
So are you not saying that these commissioners have been dropped, they've not done well? From what you said.
They have done well.
They've not done well.
They have done well. We have so many persons in the party.
You said you can be dropped if you've not done well.
Listen, I'm talking of the governor. The commissioner who man different ministries are there. The party have clamored before now that they should be reshuffle of cabinet after 2 years. So that other persons can also come in. The governor had the right to say, okay, this is the person he wants to go, he wanted to go for now. I'm bringing new person on board to also join them. It's not an elected position. Only when it's an elected position, nobody can tell you, your tenure, you must finish your tenure. But in this appointment, many persons are in this party. People are clamoring. Let us also come in. So the man looks at, okay, let this earth give way for let this one come in. Maybe in the nearest future, others will come, or when they come back for second tenure, it will bring in new persons on board.
All right.
So the issue is very clear. It is as a result of the 2020 election. Some persons feel that is the best time for us to come. Let's get the power from the national chairman of the party will support us so that we can make a change. What we are saying is that it's a party team. The party will resolve. But lastly, like I said, my joy is that it's not the case of what we have in Kogi. As we speak now, the sitting government cannot pay salary for almost close to 2 years. But that is not the case of Edo. So if the party is saying that the government must go, in eternity with the party member, we support them. Because the man has not been able to perform. He was giving money to pay, but they refused to pay. But those state cases not like that. The government is always salary. He pays at 25th. Pensioners are getting their money. Today our education sector has been reformed. We now see digital teachers who teach in the class with tablets.
All right.
So many innovations have been brought into the system. Okay. And for that simple reason, the common man in the streets, who are more than the politicians, have adopted the governor for second tenure.
You're speaking for yourself because you don't know if he's been adopted by the common man in the streets.
Go to anywhere you go to.
Okay, fine. Now, you know, people keep drawing analogy because he went to Kogi. He talked about the governor, how they lost out in that state, so to speak. And of course, people are like talking about autumn. So people are like saying that maybe if this thing continues like this, Obaseki is going to automize. That means decamp, so to speak. And of course, some people are like saying that if Obaseki, so to speak, and the governor is not careful, he's going to be abandoned, being replaced or lose his seat. Now, this reshuffling, is it out of fear of the unknown? Because he talked about 2020 being there by the corner.
I think the matter on ground is beyond the shuffling of cabinet. You know, like I said earlier, actually, we are not students of history. My very good friend have given us, you know, summary of the issues on ground. You know, and having said that, the governor has powers actually to reshuffle his cabinet. But another question is that did he do it mala fide or bona fide? Did he do it with animosity, political animosity, or did he do it just because he's doing it because those guys have not given it their best? You understand? But from the scenario that is playing here, you know, the buck ends on his table, and so he knows where it pitches him, and so he knows performing commissioners and non-performing commissioners. But we can't shy away from the fact there's a problem in Edo State, and the problem is who becomes the next candidate for APC. And yourself, you have made it clear to us, you know, will this thing lead to, you know, Edo State, will it be ambodized or will it be automized?
Yeah, because that's a term right now on the streets.
Yes, so, and it's clear that one of them will happen. Is either it is Edo State is ambodized or it is automized. And that's what we are saying, like I said before, I was making reference to the book titled, you know, How to Plan a Coup, and how the general said in chapter 7, the consequences of failure. So the party, we expect the APC as a party to actually look at the consequences of this crisis on the table. And again, we have one of the most educated, you know, monarchs in Nigeria here. We are privileged to have him here. He has tried to see how this issue can be resolved by meeting the presidency and saying, look, I don't want any problem in my state. Advise your boys. Please, I don't want any problem here. I think the party is supposed to take it also as an advantage to see how this issue can be resolved. Where they fail to resolve, it will not work in their favor. And again, the masses at the end of the day will be at the receiving end. Because when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. So we expected that APC as a party should go to their bedroom and see how they can resolve this issue. I think it's a family affair. Obasanjo will always tell you that issues in PDP is a family affair. I don't believe in you know, making a mountain out of a molehill. This issue is a very simple issue. I don't say anything there. It's a matter of all the parties sitting down and trying to see how the issue can be resolved. Again, no man is above the party. No, if the party knows the onions, no single individual is supposed to be above the party. So the party is supposed to know what is good for the state, and then they follow it up. So I don't expect that this will lead to a situation whereby we have the Lagos situation where the state governor will be asked to walk away. Like I said, all reasons that have been adduced along the street and from Bush Radio about why this man should be dropped, unconfirmed reports, have not said that the man is corrupt, have not said that the man is incompetent, have not said that the man has done anti-party activities and all that. It's all about some people trying to show power and all that, but we, this partner, we get her. And all that. So I don't think it's the best. We should see, if you want the man out, what are the reasons I want him out? Put the cash on the table. But nobody has come up with any, you know, any verifiable reason why the governor should not get another ticket for second tenure. And so I expect that the party is supposed to really see how they can sort themselves out and not bother us with all this.
All right, thank you, Anakwe Mbale. When we return from this break, we're going to take a look at also about the caution on the pages of the newspaper, talking about the print media of Governor Obaseki warning Edo-lites of what is really going on, talking about the influx of weapons in Edo State. Has it got into that? Is it connected to what is happening between the national chairman and, of course, the governor? Or it is just for security awareness, because it's getting more and more intense for our revered monarch to go to Abuja? Please talk to your boys. Tell them to calm down. Maybe something is up somewhere. We'll be right back after this break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. Like we're talking about, we went on that break about the cry, so to speak, of the governor on the pages of the newspaper, talking about the influx of arms into Edo State. Felix, we're about to commence our descent on this show. Is this connected to what is going on, or it's unconnected, the influx of arms? And of course, a strong warning also given by the governor to some persons that may want to foment trouble.
I think I heard the governor saying that nobody should fight me. I heard him saying, and the question that came to my mind is, who is fighting the governor? You know, who is fighting the governor? You know, this issue, I wish this issue was between APC members and PDP members. It would be fantastic. But now it's within the party. That's why I'm so embarrassed. When I saw the same party in the House of Assembly excluded themselves from inauguration, doing it at midnight, I was embarrassed. So one of the reasons why, personally, I was very sympathetic to this governor when he came in. You know, the guy was very distant approach to issues, the way he stopped the Togre, the way he brought sanity to Edo State. You know, I saw a man that was refined in character. But from some actions I have seen, I begin to ask some questions. Are you sure I wasn't wrong? One thing I saw was, during the House of Assembly saga, when I saw thugs entering a hotel to start beating people, I saw the first time for more than 3 years, the thugs I thought that they had stopped. I saw thugs, I saw young people who were jobless in the street, you know, protesting, you know, fighting. I was embarrassed. So, a man that wants to fight will always do everything possible to get power. A man that wants to win election by every means, whether it's Obaseki or any other person, we want to do everything by all means. But again, like what our Oba said when he went to meet the presidency, that he should please come and intervene in the crisis. I think that our very Reverend Oba must have done his best, maybe because he could not. That's why he had to go to the presidency. So the influx to me, if you ask me, I think it's unnecessary. If anybody is bringing out to Edo State to come and fight political war, it's not necessary. We are one family here. Anybody that thinks that the only way I can win an election, if the governor feels that he has worked very well, there's no need for him to be fearful. He should wait for people to vote for him. The question I keep asking is the fact that what made Ambode to lose? Have you ever read the speech of the chief of staff to the Ambode? Why they lost that election? Why Ambode lost? Was it because Ambode did not work? No. Go and read it very well. There's a difference between being a good administrator and being a good politician. The governor may be a good administrator, but he's not a good politician. People that are fighting him are members of a party who are saying that, oh, when you came in, you excluded us from governance. When you came in, you said we are thieves, we are this, now you want us to. They have every right to expect their grievance to say, because this is an internal affair. Take note, anybody that is telling you that if a person or a political party support anybody for election, they're not interested in their own interest, the person is lying. So the people must have voted for government to say that, oh, at the end, we will partake in terms of governance, in terms of policy formulation, in terms of contributing our quarter to the government. And you don't realize that, oh, the governor has excluded some person and said, oh, these are people I want to work with. Again, one of the way the governor is missing it, I keep saying, the governor is acting as if maybe he wrote the exam to become governor. He didn't do that. The governor keeps acting as if maybe he's too intelligent. That's why he became governor. No, people worked for him. This morning, when I woke up, I watched a video where he was addressing party faithful before the election, how he will carry everybody along, how he will do this, and what is happening today. Is that what he promised the party members? And if those people are angry, they are agitated, should I be saying that they are not doing it? They have every right to be agitated. Right. When you come in to say that, oh, the only people I want to work with me are people who want their units, people who want their ward, people who want their central districts, and the end people who were qualified. You didn't appoint them, you gave appointment to people who won. Now you want to contest election. The same people also have the power to ask you, have the right to ask you that, sir, did you win your unit? Didn't you win your ward? Did you win your central district in the last presidential election? It's a case of, it's a moral issue.
Thank you so much, Barrister Felix, and that is your last line on this discourse. Harrison, over to you. The influx of weapons, is it connected or unconnected?
Well, whoever that is doing that, thinking that that would be the only way to help them maybe a jack power, I think that is a history. Nobody should encourage agboholism in this state. The governor is not an agberu. He does not encourage area boys. And for that simple reason, if anybody thinks that for his own selfish interest, not for the betterment of this state, to bring in help and ammunition, he should get himself ready to face the penalty. And when the time comes, if you are caught, you'll be arrested. And you dance to the music. It's as simple as that. Remember that the Oba of Benin in his own state have also done the spiritual part of it. And the church are also praying. So nobody should think of that at all. We should be thinking of how we can unite this state and better Edo State for the common man in the street of Benin. I want to appeal to our national chairman to come over to the state and call a large meeting and bring the party together in the interest of this state. Because for Edo people, for the majority of us, Obaseki 2020 is inevitable.
We are not here to campaign, Harrison. We are not here to campaign.
We do that,
come on.
and the party will come together.
Can you pay for this advert?
I'm not doing that, but I'm only speaking as a party person.
Thank you, Harrison.
And also trying to make sure we have peace here.
Thank you, Harrison.
Because keeping quiet will not bring peace.
Thank you, Harrison.
But as you keep quiet, some other persons who feel that this man is keeping quiet, maybe he's with us, they're going to do some of these things.
Thank you, Harrison.
Let me just speak so that
Harrison.
there can be peace in the state.
Thank you, Harrison. He's speaking like a party man, of course. He's a council of one word. Don't mind him. And he claims to be an activist. Anyway, political activist.
Everybody is a political
Thank you,
animal.
Harrison. Thank you, Harrison. So good to have you on this show. Barrister Naguen for you have a minute plus to call it a wrap on this show. Your last line.
Yes, on the issue of influx of
Arms
to Edo State.
Yes.
Don't forget that the executive governor is the chief security officer of the state. And every report comes to his table. The DSS report comes to his table. The police report comes to his table. So every security report comes to his table. So if he's saying that there are influx of arms to the state, it's an understatement. He is speaking because everything, all the box ends on his table. So he knows, he gets every report every day. We don't get, you don't, I don't get, you don't get. And so I think it's not to the interest of the citizens of this state that the minor issue of who becomes the next candidate for the party will lead to people bringing arms. What are they going to do with arms?
What are they going to kill?
To kill their fellow members or to maim or whatever. I think is of no moment, as far as I'm concerned. It is of no moment bringing arms here. Again, let me say this. Edo State is very fortunate to have the immediate past chairman of the national chairman of the party, ruling party from Edo State, the person of Odigo Oyego. And they are also lucky to have the incumbent national chairman of the party, the person of Comrade Oshiohole from the state. And if you allow me to make my own views clear, it is a very big embarrassment to the entire state that a state like Edo State that just produced the immediate past national chairman of APC, a state like Edo State that has the incumbent national chairman of APC, can be having rancor and problem with the sitting government in Edo State, which is one APC. And so what is happening here is not about Obaseki. What's happening is not about Oshiohole. It's all about the state. That the state has no reason to be having the problem they're having at the moment. And the state, the party as it were, we expect them to sit down and resolve this matter. And they ought not to bother the poor man on the streets with whatever that's happening in the party. Again, we shouldn't misplace priorities. I think the APC as a party is misplacing priorities. We have to get it clear as to why they don't want this young man as the next candidate for the party. If you are talking about the man is not servicing the party, is not servicing individuals or whatever, with money, the governor, the state is aware that the outgoing government borrowed a lot of money, and there are a lot of debts on the laps of the governor. And if the governor, after servicing those debts, is still able to pay salaries, is still able to take care of the affairs of the state,
projects.
Mm.
I don't see the reason for which any person will be saying that he is not a political animal or is not whatever.
Thank you.
So I think the paramount issue is the welfare of the citizens of the state, and not that of the politicians of this state.
Thank you so much, Barrister Naguen for Felix. No time. You don't have the time to all the two things. I know you have so much to say. Harrison, also, I really appreciate you. Naguen, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your wonderful analysis. You've heard them. Whatever they've said on this platform is not connected to ITV. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with ITV. It's their own personal opinion, but we'll do our best to make sure they follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Edo State is our state. If it's not peaceful, it will not all go well for you and I. If it's not peaceful, you won't talk about 2020 election. If it's not peaceful, tell me, where will development, economic relevance, social relevance come into play? She just saw dialogue, talk it out, work it out. I believe that those states will surely move to the next level. Bye for now.